Hey everybody, welcome back to Horseshoe Mountain Ranch. Well, today it's late September. We're done with all our mowing for the year. So it's time to take the bush hog off this tractor and put the blade on it. Because all summer long we were mowing either with the sickle mower or the bush hog. And so our driveways are showing a little neglect. In fact, let me show you. Now, this driveway was first built in 1980, or well, I guess winter of 79. So it's been here a long time and it's packed hard as a rock because there used to be a chicken house here, and so there was semi-traffic on this driveway for 30 years. You know, every week there was feed trucks, egg trucks, all that coming through here. And originally this was a creek gravel, well, actually from a river. And you see these big old round rocks. And since then, you know, we've had a lot of crusher rock put on top of it. And this thing is hard as concrete. And, you know, when you get hay out of the barn from the same place every day in the winter, you end up with a mud hole. Well, where does that mud on your tires end up? In the driveway. So all those dirt particles help lock it all together. And let me tell you, you can't hardly scratch it with the ripper teeth on the box blade. But I've got a trick. And then if that wasn't enough, when you come in from the pasture over there next to that blue house, you know, you can't drive through the field without getting cow patties on your tires. You just can't miss them all. And so where does that end up? In the driveway. There again, more particles to lock it all together. So this is always quite the undertaking to try to get rid of potholes. And the only way to get rid of potholes, you can't just fill them in, because that material will be loose. I don't know how well this one shows up, but it's a pretty good one. You know, if you don't rip it out, you know, if you just fill it in, that stuff will just beat right back out of there. And, you know, a week later, it's right back. So you've got to rip them out. And I'll show you a trick when I get to that. But first, we got to take the bush hog off of here and put the blade on. Now, getting any implement off is pretty easy. Getting the other one on, the box blade for some reason is pretty ornery. And the way I get around that is with the old pry bar. And so, let me see what I can get done here. Let's set y'all up right here where you can watch. Pretty simple process, really. If I can find the button on the drive shaft and get it pressed, and there it goes. And the rest of these ain't too bad. We can get the slack off of the 3-point. That came off pretty easy. I don't know why I threw that down there. I've got to have it right back up here. Then pull the pins on that. Pull the pins over here. Actually, that bar could be helpful at this too. That one came free pretty easy. And that one's free. So, and this racket behind you is this bunch. It's, oh, they smell to high heaven. Billy goat stink. Especially when it's about breeding season, which it nearly is. So, they know the girls are just across the driveway and they holler back and forth at each other. So, we'll probably wait till late October. That way we get our babies when we want them. So, I'm going to pause this a minute and get backed up to the box blade. Okay, now I'm backed up against it. Let me get my gloves on and see how close I got. So, let's see here. And I've got to have my bushings to reduce that down from my tractor's category 2 and its attachments category 1. So they make little bushings you can use. And luckily I had them on the tractor. There's one. Here's the other. Now, that's going to take a little wrestling to get that one to go. Where this one started, this is where the bar comes handy. And let's see, I think I've got, well, we got slack in that. So that ain't the issue. This one's always a booger to do. Let me get the whammer. I'm just going to have to move the tractor a bit. I'm going to have to turn y'all off for a little bit. This is going to take a little while. I'll get you back. Okay, guys, I got it on there. I had to make a run up to the garage to get a wrench. This thing has got limiters to limit the side-to-side play, and I had it a little too tight. And I couldn't swing it in as far as I wanted it to. And here's what them look like on a John Deere anyway. You got a clevis, a turnbuckle, and another clevis. And that limits the side-to-side play in that. Because there's some attachments, you don't want them swinging back and forth. You know, some it don't matter and some you don't care. You know, this really ain't that big a deal. You just don't want it to get in a bind raising and lowering. But I'll have to do a final adjustment on this thing when I get the ripper tooth down. Because see, even when you lower these down, they won't, this will be in the way. So you got to kind of tilt this baby like that to make the back not drag and then teeth to engage. So, and I'll show you that trick, but we're running long. That's going to be a part 2, and I'll show you all that coming up. So thanks for sticking around, and I'll leave the gate open for you. Come back by.